Check that puppy out. Nice and snug fit. Alright, I'm back in the shop again today, and what I'm going to do is, well, what I did is put that torque converter in. It had a 6-bolter in there. That one I got to pull out real quick. I put in a 3-bolt, so that's the HD. It's like an 1100 RPM stall. This is a 1400 stall. So anyways, I got new motor mounts put in here. I'll swing this engine in, get it all set in place, get motor mount bolts put in. Got the Speedway adapter plate, bolts and everything on, so get this thing stabbed in here and bolted up. Well, actually I decided before I do that, I'm gonna figure out, which I think it's right where that ground strap I cut is screwed on. I gotta check, but I think I'm going to drill an 1.5 inch or a 2-inch hole there to run my harness through my firewall. So I'll put the Holley Terminator X and my glove box on the top side, and all my wires will go up into there for that, minus the ones that need to go to the fuse box and tie into some of these wires I have pulled apart over here. So I'm going to dig into that real quick, maybe hole saw a hole in there if I feel like it's accessible from behind the box. And then we'll swing the engine in. All right, so up in here, I gotta move some more of this insulation, but I think my harness is gonna come through back here where that screw is. So I wanna expose it, verify with where that screw's sticking through, and then I'll go ahead and drill the hole. All right, you can't really tell, but there's a screw back on that flat spot. Anyways, that's where my hole's gonna be, so follow the camera out. So it's just on the back side of that insulation. And I'm just getting to it through the glove box. So you can see that's that screw where the ground strap is that I cut off. So, oh, 10 mil, not a 3/8. All right, so got a pilot hole already there, I guess. Anyways, I'll go get a hole saw set up and I'll drill that out. All right, and you can see my little shop light shining light through there. So that's the new hole for the harness to run from the back of the motor in through the firewall into the glove box. Okay, the engine's going in. When I pulled the 6.5 out, just undid the inner spring hinge and wedged this tubing in here. You get that hood at a higher angle, so hopefully this thing will clear and work its way in and I don't have to pull the hood. right, so I got the engine part of the way in. My transmission's offset. You can see looking back there, it's offset an inch or two, but it's just not centered with the tunnel. So I'm going to see if I can work it back to the one side. Alright, so I got it in. Motor mount bolts are in. I got about an 1/8 inch down there from touching my cross member with these motor mounts. So that's good. Tranny lines, I'll have to do a little bending, plus I have to add 2 flare fittings here, because then my hoses will go underneath the radiator and up to the cooler side over here. And then also come to a trans cooler I'll put in front of the AC condenser. So yeah, I have 2 bolts in the transmission bell housing holding it to this. Everything's coupled up though. I just need to get the rest of my bolts. I don't have them all. I just had 2 for now. This motor mount's tight as well. So anyways, I do have a bump stop bracket that's right here. It's 2 9/16 bolts on the top and 2 on the side. I gotta unbolt that and drop it out. My header's just touching it. I have bump stops right here on both sides, and then there's still one on this side, but this one touches a web on the pumpkin. But I'm doing a lift, so this one really doesn't matter. That's over here. That hole's perfect for that Holley. The harness will actually kind of lay behind the intake and then go up through there. I can mount my relay, some of my wires up there, run some across the firewall on the inside over here and connect to the fuse box. And then a few of these wires get connected to it as well that are just laying here. I'll run them back in the cab to connect. All right, I hooked up the vacuum line down to the tranny. I just have it zip tied in a couple spots for now. I'll get a cable clamp for there. I'll do something up here, whether I snake off of that bolt and have a bracket that holds it. And the line comes up to here. I was gonna plug this, but that works out perfect. I just wanted to give out a key piece of information. If you're putting an LS 6053, whatever, replacing the 6.2 diesel in a turbo 400 3/4 ton truck, when you bolt your engine mounts in, make sure they're slid back as far as they can go. And then loosen up your cross member bolts for your transfer case transmission. You'll need to pull that forward to the front portion of the sliding rail on the cross member, because the engine's an inch apart from the transmission. So anyways, just key piece of information. It'll bolt up. You don't have to change nothing, but you got to slide that all forward and slide these mounts back. Well, I think that's all I'm going to do for tonight. I'm waiting on my spark plug wires, waiting on my radiator. I gotta go pick up bolts. The Holley Terminator will be in tomorrow, along with the multi-tech injectors. No Terminator kits were in stock for the EV6 style injectors, which is what's in this. So I'm gonna put multi-techs back in, and I'll get that Holley Terminator put in tomorrow night. And then I'm waiting on my ICT billet brackets, put an air conditioning pump here, and then all the idler pulleys, and then alternator bracket, and then power steering. And then I'll put a Duramax power steering pump on, which with that, then I can run this Hydro Boost setup. So I'll show you how that's all done, but I believe it's like an 03 Duramax. You can get the pump, it'll bolt right up to any 5.3 LS bracket. It's just a 3-bolt pattern, I believe. Maybe I'm wrong, but I will figure that out when I get the bracket in, and I'll go pick one up and verify. The gear or the pulley should go right on it. So I'll get that put in, and then when the rad shows up, I'll go pick up a couple hoses, get them in, build some brackets to hold it, because it never seems like the aluminum radiators use the original brackets. Get some heater hoses plumbed in, and then I'll go through all this wiring, and then I'll get the fuel tank put in and run all the fuel lines, and then this thing will start. So anyways, one piece at a time, and thanks for watching, and I'll be back.